What's up, you guys? Today I want to be able to show you guys how I sketch on Procreate. I do something for a lot of my friends that they think that would help you guys, those of you that want to become like fashion illustrators or start designing your own stuff. There are a lot of kids out there that can't freehand draw, and I was one of those kids. My grandmother taught me how to sketch when I was younger, but faces were not like something that I really like to do. So I want to go ahead and show you guys on this new iPad Pro that I got, this Procreate app that allows me to do things like I used to do when I was at FITM. I'm going to show you guys how I do it here on Procreate, and I love this little sketch pad. I think that it's amazing. So here are the step-by-steps of how I learned how to draw on Photoshop when I was at FITM. So if you go ahead and open up a new document there, I'm going to use a model off the runway as a template. So as you guys can see, Procreate has layers. There's layer 1, which is this layer here, and then you're going to constantly multiply this by adding different layers. So to do that, this first layer here, I'm going to bring in an image, insert a flat image, go into my photos, go into my camera roll, scroll down and find an image off the runway, or whatever image that it may be. It may be pants, it might be a top, it might be anything. Today we're going to concentrate on faces. So here I'm going to pick a girl, I'm going to resize it to where it fits the screen, which it currently already does. And this is my first layer. So because it's a first layer, you really want this image to stay true to itself. So what you want to do is currently lock this layer. So to do that, you're going to drag this and you're going to go lock layer. So now this layer right here cannot be touched. It won't move, it won't do anything. The only thing you're going to be able to do is zoom in and out of it on Procreate, which is a great tool to be able to get into the details of her face, etc., etc. So with that being said, we're going to make this the normal size again. And you're going to add another layer, which is going to be your layer that you want to trace over the image. And it's funny to me because a lot of people think that tracing is cheating, right? Granted, it's not us that can be the judge of that, because granted, all we want is an actual figure to draw on. So I don't necessarily call it cheating. My professor at the time that taught me this process at FITM, she didn't think that it was cheating. She thought that it was like a tool to kind of help those of us that couldn't freehand sketch. And obviously once I start designing the actual garment on the model, I won't be doing that. So I won't be like tracing, I guess you could say, because then that's really cheating and then you're stealing designs, which isn't okay. Once you lock this layer will not move. It won't move at all. So this will really help when you start drawing and tracing over the model with your next layer. So what you're going to do is you're going to add a layer. This layer 2 is the new layer that you will be sketching on and using as like a tracing paper is what I like to call it. So with layer 2, if you go into here, you can rename it. Let's name it model figure. This model figure is going to be the exact tracing outline of the model, which we want to use as a stencil for anything that we want to design. So this model figure layer, you can actually go in and decide to fill it if you would like to as well. So to fill it, you can fill it with any color that this current bubble is. Granted, no one wants a black layer. So let's change that to white. And fill it white. So now you have a sheet over the actual template photo that we want to use. So this layer here, which is the model figure layer, we want to use as a tracing paper. So to do that, let's go ahead and change the actual settings. By doing that, we can actually make this as see-through as we want by changing the opacity level. So I want to take it down to where I can at least still see the model, but want to be able to like get all the fine lines. Again, you can always go back and change that up and down as you start sketching. So now we're going to go here. we want to sketch on this layer. Again, you guys have to make sure that the first layer is locked. And that's so that you don't end up drawing on that layer and you focus on drawing on only the model figure layer. Once you've got your actual tracing paper, is what I like to call it, over this, you want to make sure that you change the settings. So now we're going to start drawing on this. We're going to click the brushes and we're going to hit technical pencil. Make sure that when you do this, the color is different so that you're not drawing white lines. You want to make sure that you draw in either a black or a gray. Let's go ahead and do black so that you guys can actually see it. So now I've got my brush, which is technically going to be a technical pencil, and I have my black color palette. I'm going to zoom into the girl, and I am going to create a trace. So I'm going to go around her actual face, her chin, and all the areas that you actually want defined. I usually don't like to do a bunch of lines. I'm actually one of those girls that like to make this my own. So by doing that, obviously her lips are important. So I like to go in and do like the details of the lips. Kind of give her whatever type of lips that you want, because she's acting as a template. Her nose is important. I usually only like to take like one corner of the nose. Two maybe, and then add a bit of an arch, stencil in her brows, and do a bit of a little eye. And you're gonna go in, her ear is important. Sketch out a little ear for her. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect, right? Because granted, as a fashion designer, it's an illustration that you want. And so the main focus is always gonna end up being her dress. So let's go into it and see how well we've done. By clicking on the layers, you can again show this layer whenever you feel like it by clicking this little check mark. It's seen, it's not seen. It's seen, it's not seen. And you can kind of keep going back and forth. So with that being said, I want to press a little bit harder on the pen and really get the details of this girl. I'm going to press a little bit harder so that you guys can actually see it better. And again, go in and pick out all of the things that you actually want from this girl. Because if she is going to be your model, you want her to be really pretty. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect. Because you're really just using her as a template. So now you can actually, once you're done sketching her, you can actually go into the layers here and view it and not view it, which is really cool. And so now you can kind of see where your face is. If you like it, if you don't like it, you can add more stuff to it, maybe give her some hair, etc., etc. Obviously, that's not my focus. I like to usually only give like a model one eye because granted, it really isn't about her, at least for these images that I'm sketching. So we want to go ahead and see this a little bit darker. So obviously we picked a black pencil, and as you guys can see, this is gray rather than it being black. So a couple of you might be like, well, but I thought I used a gray pencil or I thought I used a black pencil and now it's gray. All you have to do, go back into this model figure layer and change the opacity level again. There you have it. So now this is our model figure girl. So we're gonna go in and go ahead and do this with her entire body. So we wanna change the opacity level again, back to somewhere normal and light. We wanna turn the first template layer back on. We wanna go back and actually draw out the body. So we wanna make sure that our pencil is that black color again. And we're gonna zoom in and focus on the details. And you guys make sure to take your time with this type of stuff because, you know, you want to make sure that the body is actually semi the same. Also, another tip that I received when I was in school, and some people like to do this, some people don't. Granted, on a template like this, like an iPad template, you can erase all types of lines, but I was taught to do shapes. So if you focus on, for example, this right here, her torso section is it's like a triangle, like a half a triangle. There, give her a waistline. Then you can do somewhat of another shape here. You can do another shape there. And do another shape there. Take shapes. That's one way that I was taught. Do that. And then the figure ends up looking a little boxy, but again, some people like it, some people don't. You can always go back in and kind of fill in little details, but that is one way to create a figure. So if you want to look at it, you can go here. You can take it in and out, and she kind of looks like a mannequin. So that's one way that you can go ahead and draw figures. Another way is to go back in. Let's erase those lines. Just going in and creating like nice fine details. Granted, all that we really want is the silhouette of the body because we're gonna end up drawing over her anyways, or I'm gonna end up drawing over her anyways, with any types of designs that I really want to design. So all I'm really gonna do here is focus on the details that I really want my model to have. And again, if you are looking for a person that loves to sketch and wants everything to be perfect, I'm not that person, so unfortunately you won't get that out of me. I don't pay that much attention to detail because I think the detail is going to come from the dress that I actually design. So I like to put in a pelvis so that I know where the waistline is, etc. So that's kind of my go-to in terms of like dressing her once she's done. So you're gonna zoom in and you're gonna go into like the legs now. And as you guys can tell, I'm not really drawing exactly on the line of the model. I'm just using her as a template so that I can actually create kind of my own designs and what I see in the girl. So there you have it. You're gonna go back here, you're gonna look, you're gonna make the other girl disappear, and there you go. You have your first model template straight off the runway. So